Hey everybody, welcome back to Yokchi-Conscious Spoken Word Awakening Moment podcast. Just want to wish you a happy new year and prosperous new year in 2021. All right, 2020 was a very exciting, adventurous, mental testing, physically, emotionally, spiritually, and it's also was a good reset for the entire world to be able to reset, refocus, rethink their possibility, and realize life could change at any moment. So you have to enjoy each moment like your last. So live it to the best of your ability, and in that process of living it to your best of your ability, is to help others and move forward, right? So today's podcast is called onion. Fear is like onions. Okay, that's a good topic. Fear is like onion. Okay, so the reason why I say fear is like onion is that in each fear, right, a fear has to be rooted somewhere. It has to start from somewhere. It's no different than a tree, so it has to be planted like a tree. So what I'm saying is that two parents, right, if you go back to the podcast about fractured mind where I talk about a tree and how it's rooted inside the ground where it's dark, let's check that out as well. So the thing what I'm saying is if two parents come together, they both have fear, right? I have fear, everybody has fear. It's how you use that fear to counteract what is being told to you over these years. I feel that fear could be used in two ways. You can use it in a positive manner or negative manner. So in the negative manner, I would give first. The negative manner is that in a negative manner, it could cause a lot of anxiety, stress, doubt, self-doubt, low self-esteem, not taking advantage of opportunity, not feeling self-motivated. So that side of the negative fear could cause you not to like propel yourself and move forward in your purpose. It's how you're mentally structure yourself, how you talk yourself, like you have that talk time, you talk to yourself in the mirror and give yourself motivational push, right? So if you use fear could be used in that aspect, and fear could actually use to keep others down very easily based on their mindset. If their mind is not if themselves in a mind frame is not able to see that the fear is actually using to keep them down and dig themselves out of it, they get deeper and deeper. And then you give people that is not in deserving of your love and control, they'll use the fear to keep you down, right? And the other way you can use fear. So fear again could be used in a positive manner. So I'm going to give you an experience of how I use fear. So 2020 was crazy. It was really, really, really intense for not just for me, every business around. So I saw the opportunity to say, okay, fear right now. Okay, coronavirus, we all get sick, business was slowing down all around. So in that process, naturally, the first 2 weeks, we're all in fear, we're all in shock, we don't know what to do, we're anxious, our digestive system is off because fear affects the kidney. So when it affects the kidney, it also affects the bone, it affects the other organs, and it trickles around because everything is interconnected. So that word fear could trigger everything else because it's emotion, right? So emotion make you overthink, you overreact, you don't set structured process to be able to get you where you need to go. So when you use fear to propel you, so if fear base is trying to keep you down, you use that fear to be able to push you through to the next level because everything is yin and yang. It's how you see it. So if you use that fear to push you to the next level, even though you're fearful, you're sweating, you have anxiety, in the process of having that anxiety, you're like, okay, I'm going to keep pushing because you know there's a light at the end of the tunnel. So by using the fear to push you through to get to the next level, like any sports athlete that is saying, okay, I'm going to go on the field and these guys are actually been winning, but if they already create a fear in their head that the other team is going to win the game, they're naturally already lost because they've now beat themselves before they even got on the field. Where you now actually say, okay, yes, this team is really, really good, but either way, I'm mentally stronger than they are. So you have to boost yourself up in the fact that you're fearful. You need to push through, using that fear to generate that energy, the internal energy that be able to push you forward, to keep you motivated, to keep you positive. Even if you say, oh man, the guy's bigger than me, you say, okay, I got this. He may be bigger than me, but I can still push through. I still have the strength, and I still have that endurance to be able to overcome whatever fear that's in my mind. Right? So once you put fear in your mind without the proper suggestion, the proper ideas of being able to, when I say proper ideas, the proper idea to structure the next step or outline a goal through the fear, becomes very sloppy because you don't know what you're gonna do. But if you have an idea, a structure, a dream, and you're gonna manifest it, no matter how fearful you are, you follow that structure that you created for yourself. So you can use fear to like push yourself to that level. All right, so that's that one side of how you could use fear to be able to propel yourself to the next level, because everything is yin and yang. Just keep that in mind. There's nothing without a positive or negative. It's how you use fear to propel yourself to the next level. In 2020, test everybody mentally, physically, at how strong they are mentally to be able to push themselves to the next level, even though they were fearful of the unknown. They're not sure what's going to happen, but they still push themselves because they know there's a light at the end of the tunnel, and they had a strong mindset to be able to overcome that obstacle of not understanding what's going to be certain. Right? So just keep that in mind. That's how you use fear. You can use fear to like literally propel yourself into any level you want. Right? So let's get in deeper into fear. So fear, I feel fear was already rooted in our DNA, right? So fear has been around for centuries, for years, way before all of us. So fear has been around forever. So fear is in each individual mind. It's already preset in our mind through our DNA from our parents. So because it was already preset in our mind from our parents, it naturally, that DNA cross bridge, it goes right into our bloodstream or right into your DNA when we come out. So we come out with fear in our system, right? Here's the thing. So we already come up with fear in the system, but when a child does not know fear yet, right? When it comes out, it doesn't know anything about fear, doesn't know anything about what's going on in the world. So the child is a clean slate in its mind till we as parents put the remaining idea or finish the sentence or put a suggestion or trigger word into it to be able to trigger that fear factor in the child. So for example, as a child, if the child is walking, doesn't know what's going on, it's walking, it's running around, it's jumping off the couch, it's doing somersaults, whatever it is doing, the child thinks that is fun, it's cool, he's jumping over the other chair, doing things that we as adults may say, oh, if we do that, we're gonna hurt ourselves. Right? So we as adults already have those fears in because we're growing up with fear. That everybody tell, okay, you can't do this because this is going to happen. But that child does not know fear yet. So the child has no fear. It's going to jump on that skateboard. It's going to actually take a risk. It's going to take a chance and see what happens. Right? So when the child take a risk, take a chance and see what happened, the child itself is naturally going to master the idea of like, oh, okay, if I do this more and more, I'm going to get better at it. So the child is going to naturally propel itself through not knowing what fear is, propel itself because they're enjoying what they're doing, so there's no fear attached to it. The only time I feel that fear is attached to it is when the parents plant the seed and says, you know, if you slide down that stairs and you miss a step, you're going to fall forward on your head and you're going to crack your head open. So when a child hears that and when the parent puts it, it's a suggestive message that a child's going to keep in their mind. Where if you power phrase that same message in a different manner, so if they see the child on the step and you say, okay, I know you're going to slide down the stairs, but be careful. Here's the step that makes it easier for you to slide down the stairs so this way you don't bruise yourself. And the child's like, oh, okay, that seems normal, because what you do, you don't power phrase it in a manner that the child it's not a fearful tone, but it's in a tone that the child understands. Okay, yes, if I do this in a positive manner with a proper outline, I'm going to be okay. So then now the child still doesn't understand that he could hurt his, yes, I understand he could hurt himself, but there's no fear created, or you didn't use a trigger word to trip the child's psyche. All right. So first, let's go as an adult. So I want to slide down the stairs because I'm an adult. I've grown up with so much fear. Like, oh man, I got responsibilities. I got this to do. If I slide down that stairs and I miss a step, I'm gonna break something. Can't go to work. Can't go to this. Where you yourself is your own worst enemy, because you as an adult is actually programming yourself with these fears and using these activation words to activate that fear in your mind that's not necessary. If you now say, okay, I'm going to go down this step, yes, I'm going to be careful, I understand the structure, everything's going to be fine, I'm going to slide on the stairs. You slide on the stairs, you're good. So think about it like this. So if you're going for an opportunity and you're not sure about the opportunity, but you start to create fear in your mind about the opportunity, the next step in life where you need to go, and it presents itself right there, and now you're starting to be fearful because you're being so used to being bombarded with fear that you don't act on the opportunity to move forward, because you're like, okay, I'm not sure what's going to happen next. I'm not sure how it's going to work. I'm not sure how I'm going to get the money. So instead of you saying, okay, you know what? Yes, I'm going to take this opportunity. I'm going to work through the unknown. Even though it's fearful, I'm going to work through the unknown, and we use this fear to drive me and propel me to the next level. Even though I'm not sure what's going to be on the other side, I'm going to do it anyways, because I'm going to use this fear that I have inside to overcome the obstacle to get to the next level. So then you see how you use fear. You literally take the fear of the unknown, flip it, use it in a positive manner, and move forward. It's like the dark. Let's give you an example about the dark. As child, we all realize that if we turn that light off, it's pitch dark. Can't see anything. So then as time go on, people say, okay, everything in dark is going to scare you. There's boogeyman, there's a ghost, something going to jump out at you. There's always something under the bed. So by creating the suggestion to the child that the dark is bad, and there's something under the bed like the boogeyman, and if you turn the light off, something's going to grab you. So by creating those imaginary fear in the child's head, the child naturally sees the dark as a fear. So if you turn the light, the child goes crazy. Adult go crazy, still have fear. But you say, okay, listen, yes, if you turn the light off, it's going to be dark, but there's nothing in the darkness that could hurt you that you don't already know, right? So just move forward. It's okay. Just feel your way around, right? It's just like an opportunity. So again, if an opportunity presents itself, of course you're going to be fearful in your mind, but you're not going to let your mind take control of you, because your mind is going to be strong enough to say, okay, yes, I'm not sure what the next step is, but I'm going to work my way through it. I'm going to figure out the structures of this pattern, so this way I'm not left in the dark, right? And then once you figure out the structure in that manner, you realize whatever's in the dark is the same thing in the light. And if it's in the light, it can still hurt you. And if it's in the dark, it can still hurt you. But you now understand how to feel your way around through the darkness to get to the other side of overcoming your fear. Right? So just keep that in mind. You can use fear as a way to overcome just about anything. Remember, there's yin and yang. Always a positive and always a negative. Is how your mindset, or what is how you put your mindset and how you actually use progressive phrasing to be able to overcome those sticky points in your mind to get to the next level. So if you understand how to power phrase and you structure phrasing, you'll realize that there's nothing that you can't do, and you're able to manifest more through proper phrasing, and you realize that fear is a way to propel you versus holding you back. Just keep that in mind. Fear is a way of propelling you versus holding you back. All right. So that was the thank you again for listening to our Yokchi-Conscious Spoken Word Awakening Moment podcast. You can find us on Spotify, Instagram, and all streaming platforms. I just want to say thank you again and again. Happy New Year. I hope 2021 bring you all the positive blessing that you need for you and your family. Yokchi-Conscious spoken word
Just
out.
like we
And please
have
check out our other
generational
music on
wealth,
Spotify.
we
Have a
also
good one.
have generational fear.